Welcome to Spiritual Dialogue with Father Udon de Castro. We are here at Cariana Lay Monastic Community. I'm your host, Brother Lodi, and with me is Sister Tachi.
Yes, I was just thinking about the Council of Trent, Father, and it was already trying to help resolve the situation, Father. Why did they not pick it up at all? Is it an attitude problem or pride or what is it, Father? Why should people do that?
The Council of Trent solved the problem,
That's what she said.
wherein the problem that time was the teachings were not clear.
Oh, yes.
So it clarified all the teachings of the Catholic Church, which is very good. But again, the way the teaching should be taught must be in a very special way because the teachings are supernatural. That's what the preachers and the Council of Trent was not able to do. In the implementation was wrong. They gave the correct doctrines, but the correct doctrines were not taught properly. And the correct doctrines, and these are all correct doctrines, were not received by the seminarians properly.
Question. Did the council not tell them how, what sort of state of soul you should have? They did not go into that detail so much.
They could not do that because
Okay.
that's the portion that is taught by God. It's not taught by
I
man
see.
anymore.
So it cannot be.
It
It
cannot
has to
be
be
taught.
either you have it or you don't.
Yeah, because there is a portion
Okay.
that is taught by man and
Like
there's a
that's the
portion
one.
that's taught by God.
Okay, okay.
If you will remember when Christ asked Saint Peter, "Who do people say I am?" And some apostle says, "You are a prophet." That's the answer of men. But when Christ asked Peter, "Who do you say I am?" Peter said, "You are the Son of the Most High." And Christ says, "Only God has taught you that."
God,
So there's a portion of God.
Yes,
There's a
Father.
portion of man, there's a portion of God. So the portion of man during the Council of Trent was promulgated, but the portion of God could not be done by men because it's God's portion. It's God who has to do it.
Yes.
It was not done.
And God didn't think they were worthy for Him to do it to them? You think?
No, probably they were worthy, but the seminarians were not worthy.
Oh, I see. So
You know,
there were a lot of things, lot of
Only two things,
Yes,
you
it
know.
had to be both.
good teacher and good
It-
students.
yeah, it couldn't be
the
one or the-
moment
yes.
cannot be one only.
Okay.
Now, the greatest proof of this was that after the Council of Trent, things got worse in the Catholic Church. Actually, the crisis became worse, not better. And it became worse during the time of Pius IX, because practically most of the cardinals, most of the bishops, and most of the priests were heretics, during the
That's what
time
you
of
said.
Pius IX. So it really went worse. But when Vatican II took place, it even became worse because the heretics were not only destroying the Catholic Church, they took over the Catholic Church.
Yes, yes.
They began to hold the important positions within the Catholic Church, so it became really worse. This happened precisely in the Philippines. When Pope John Paul II came to the Philippines, and this is a very clear example because what's happening in the Philippines is happening all over the world. Because the state of a church in one place, like the Philippines, is the state of the Catholic Church all over the world, St. John Chrysostom says. So when you want to find out the state of the Catholic Church, you don't have to go around the world. That would be too expensive in the first place.
Yes, Father.
All you have to do is look at the state of one diocese or one parish, and that surely will be the state of the Catholic Church all over the world, St. John Chrysostom says. Because that's the same church.
Yes, Father.
The diocese in the Philippines, the state of a diocese in the Philippines, if that is the Catholic Church, is identical to the diocese in Africa. if they're also Catholics? The
Yes.
same, di ba? Because
should be
Catholic Church should be one.
Should be the same. Yes, Father.
So when Pope John Paul II came to the Philippines, he went to Reggio Veritas at Fairview
Yes.
and talked to all the bishops of the Philippines. This is all the bishops. This is not only one diocese. It's not only one parish. It's all the bishops of the Philippines. That's practically all the dioceses, all the parishes. And commanded the bishops to make a new curriculum for the seminary.
What happened, Father?
So the question first is why?
Yes.
Why would Pope John Paul II tell the bishops to make a new curriculum? What's wrong with the old one?
There must be something wrong with the old one.
That's true. There must be something wrong. And there could only be one thing wrong in a curriculum. It's not producing faith.
Yes.
Because
Father.
all teachings in the Catholic Church must produce faith. The preachings, the seminary training, the theological training must produce faith. So probably it's not producing faith. Now, when you say not producing faith, meaning to say people are not entering the Catholic Church. Because the Catholic Church is called the Catholic faith. So the priests and the bishops are not entering, and the seminaries are not entering the Catholic Church, and the lay people like you are not entering the Catholic Church. Pope John Paul II didn't say that. He didn't say that. What did he say? I don't know because I was not there. He was only talking to the bishops, and I'm not a bishop. But I'm just surmising what's the reason why he commanded the curriculum to be changed.
There's
As
not-
you said,
There must be something wrong
there's
with the
something
old
wrong.
one.
And there is only one thing wrong if there is something wrong in the preaching, that it's not producing faith. There can be nothing wrong else.
Yes, yes, Father.
Well, anyway, I think Pope John Paul II gave us several years to make a new curriculum. I forgot how many years. I think it reached even 5 or 10 years to make the curriculum.
Did they make a new curriculum?
Now, if you were told to make a curriculum, Lodi, what would you do? Let's say a new curriculum for the Philippine Seminary. This is seminary of the entire Philippines, huh?
I will find out what's wrong with the old curriculum and what should be the change to be done.
Well, that's the longer way of doing things
What's the
to
easiest?
examine. The easiest way is just look for a new curriculum that's very good.
Oh, yes, of course.
Just look for a new one.
Did other countries have different?
Well, that's the practical thing to do.
Yeah.
Go to Rome, go to United States, go to Europe, and look for other curriculums.
There might have. Okay.
Why do you have to go to those places, Father, while faith is a matter of learning?
Well, because the Philippine curriculum was defective. It was not producing faith. So you have to change it because it's not working. And the easiest way is to look for another curriculum that works.
Yes.
That's the easiest, the cheapest thing to do. Especially we have computer. All you have to do is go to Yahoo or Google and type seminary curriculum in Rome and so on.
And compare. And
Seminary curriculum of the Opus Dei, of the Jesuits, of the Benedictines, in America and so on like that, isn't it?
About this faith, Father, doctors and fathers of the church have been explaining the true faith, the true Catholic faith. How come?
Well, that's longer,
St. Thomas Aquinas explained about faith.
but that's a longer process. You have to study
Okay.
all those books, that's a longer process. That's a very good thing, but it's a longer process. And Pope John Paul gave them a deadline, so you don't have all the time to spare. Well, anyway, the
happened?
bishops did that. They looked for other nice curriculum, and they couldn't find any.
How come? How come, Father?
Because the defect with the Philippine curriculum in seminary was that it's all modern.
Was it based on modernism?
Not modernism, but it's newly made.
Newly made, okay.
So it's newly made based on new theologians, new schools of theology. Everything is new, modern. And of course, there's a danger of modernism entering it. Of course. So, since that time, when Pope John Paul II talked to the bishops' conference of the Philippines, there were many old bishops yet.
I see. Okay.
John Paul II. Many old bishops, and they remembered how their seminary days looked like and what was the curriculum, they recall. So they knew very well there was something wrong really with the present curriculum of the seminaries in the Philippines. So they looked for a curriculum similar to what they have learned when they were seminarians.
Yes.
And they could not find something similar.
So, Father, what next?
Now, Brother Lodi, you look at me,
Yeah.
and I'm just the same age as those bishops to whom Pope John Paul II was speaking to. So I know how my curriculum looked like.
Yes.
And essentially, I would say that my seminary training was based on the liturgy. And that's perfect. Why? Because I studied the liturgy from the beginning of the year up to the end, and I have my notes in the notebook. So when I become a parish priest, all I have to do is read my notebook.
Yes, Father.
It's the easiest thing to do because everything is there. Every Sunday, homily is there.
So it was based on that.
Huh?
That's the one they should do. They never did that anymore.
That was the one that done
in your
before.
time.
Yeah. So we were looking for a curriculum that is similar to that, and we couldn't find. So the bishops, after the deadline arrived, had no curriculum yet. There were 5 proposals to the bishops' conference, but they were all modern curriculum.
Okay.
So that's 1 week before the meeting of the bishops as a deadline given by Pope John Paul. So there was a bishop who took a chance. He remembered how the liturgy was being taught in the seminary. He remembered. And he had it typed down. And it was presented on Saturday morning, the beginning of the first day of the CBCP meeting in Tagaytay City. And right away, those bishops who were all still old and therefore remember how the seminary training was, approve it immediately.
Why?
Because it was
Because
good.
they saw it. It was how they learned in the seminary.
And then,
And then they retired. And the new bishops did not implement the new curriculum that they themselves have approved.
Oh my.
So up to now, we still have a problem in the seminary where the teachers are not teaching properly and where the seminarians are not learning properly.
I don't know the reason why they did not apply the curriculum that was approved.
Because it was the young bishops who never underwent that, so they don't know the difference between the old curriculum and the new curriculum.
sad.
Oh boy. You have a big problem, Father.
That's it.
Well, it's a big problem, but it can be solved because there is a solution to it. Remember that Christ gave us a religion that's supposed to solve all problems.
Yes.
So this is a problem of saving souls. And that's the problem that the gospel is trying to solve. So there is no problem really that is unsolvable.
30 seconds, Father. We have 30 seconds to go.
So we have seen that the real major problem, if you go to the root of it in the Catholic Church, why it's so confused, is again because the teachers of the faith are not teaching properly, are in fact even teaching what are the wrong doctrines, and the seminarians are not learning properly. And so we are producing bishops and cardinals and priests who do not know the Catholic faith, and therefore you lay people who are under them remain totally ignorant of the Catholic faith.
Thank you, Father. Thank you for watching Spiritual Dialogue with Father Udon de Castro. See you next episode, and thank you for viewing. Thank you.
Hosanna, Hosanna, in excelsis, Hosanna.